Alana burst through the front door of her parents' house, her face pale, tears streaking her cheeks the instant Penelope Strickland saw her. A sudden, uneasy dread gripped her chest. Something is very wrong, she thought. Alana, darling, what happened? Penelope asked, hurrying forward and gathering her daughter in a fierce hug. Alana collapsed into her mother's arms, her sobs shaking her entire body, trembling violently, barely able to inhale between cries. When she finally managed to speak, it was barely audible. Zachary, he's gone. Penelope held her tighter, running gentle fingers through Alana's hair, coaxing her to calm enough to continue. Across the room, Anthony Strickland watched silently, concern etched on his face as his wife comforted their child. Alana dabbed at her swollen eyes and shakily pushed an envelope toward her father. He sent this at work, she whispered, her voice trembling. Anthony took it, his expression unreadable. His fingers tightened around the edges as he paused, voice careful. Where's Benjamin? Is he with Zachary? Alana nodded faintly. Zachary dropped Kevin off here earlier. Said he had an errand with Benjamin. She drew a ragged breath, clutching at her mother's sleeve. And then, I got the divorce papers at the office. Anthony sank into the armchair, eyes flicking between his wife and daughter. The two of them curled together on the couch like survivors clinging to each other on a lifeboat. Penelope murmured soft, soothing words, but Anthony already felt a shadow of something darker pressing in. He opened the papers carefully, face hardening as he read the contents. No discussion, no warning, just abandonment. He served you at work? He asked quietly, his calm voice barely masking the anger simmering beneath. Yes, Alana whispered, breath hitching. Anthony's frown deepened as he flipped through the documents. Then his jaw clenched. He's accusing you of infidelity. His tone was low, measured, but edged with danger. He met Alana's eyes. Is that true? Her face crumpled, fresh tears falling. No, I never cheated. I love him, she sobbed, curling inward. He thinks I was involved with someone at work. But it's not true. I stopped it immediately. Anthony pressed his lips into a thin line. He refused to believe Zachary's claims had merit. Did he give you a reason? Why would he think this? Alana's voice shook, anger mingled with despair. I don't know. Maybe because I hugged a coworker after a big deal, or at an office party I got drunk and someone kissed me. I stopped it right away. Nothing else happened. I swear. Anthony exhaled slowly, scanning another page. Zachary demanded joint custody of Benjamin, but nothing for Kevin. His disbelief grew as he read further. He wants Kevin's last name changed, removed from the birth certificate. His voice was tight, controlled, but a storm brewed beneath. The room fell heavy with silence. Penelope and Alana exchanged a fearful glance before Alana collapsed again into her mother's arms. Anthony's voice was steady, sharp as a blade. Alana. Is he saying Kevin isn't his child? Ilana wailed, burying her face in Penelope's shoulder. Her mother's gaze hardened, eyes freezing. This isn't going to work, she said, voice warning. Anthony remained calm, his eyes fixed on her. Do you know anything about this? Did Alana tell you? Penelope hesitated, jaw tight, before shaking her head. No. This is the first I'm hearing. We've been left in the dark. Anthony's expression darkened, suspicion slicing the air. He doesn't believe you, he said flatly, before chilling them both. Hand over your phones. Penelope's fury ignited. No. You can't violate our privacy. Anthony's voice was ice. If you have nothing to hide, unlock them, or I file for divorce tomorrow. I've never given you reason to doubt me, she snapped, voice shaking but defiant. You won't get our phones, and we are not divorcing. Anthony's face remained unreadable. His tone dropped lower. I've endured too many lies. Watching my daughter raise another man's child changes everything. Give me the phones, or it's over. Penelope's anger boiled over. "Go to hell," she spat, eyes blazing. "I'll take everything and leave you with nothing." Anthony remained motionless, wrist flicking sharply as he tossed the divorce papers onto the coffee table. His voice was bitter, low. "Do what you must." Without another glance, he strode toward the kitchen. Silence hung, suffocating, thick with tension. Moments later, Anthony returned, carrying a plastic zip-top bag. His movements were cold, precise. He turned the bag inside out, using it to pick up used napkins near Alana, sealing it meticulously. "What do you think you're doing?" Penelope demanded, body shaking with rage, pointing at the bag, fury unlike anything Anthony had ever seen in their nearly 30 years of marriage. Then he realized. Perhaps he'd never truly known her. "I'm contacting Zachary," Anthony said, eerily calm. "Find out which DNA service he used. If Kevin isn't his, I need to know if Alana is mine, or if I've been deceived for 30 years. Penelope screamed, primal, unrestrained, and lunged at him, claws raking across his face. Anthony acted on instinct, a controlled strike to the solar plexus, enough to wind her without lasting harm. Penelope crumpled, gasping. A scream tore through the room. Alana froze, horror etched across her tear-streaked face as she watched her mother struggle. Anthony didn't hesitate. He turned and walked toward his office. Leaving behind the fractured remnants of his family, Anthony knew Penelope would regain her composure soon enough, but he had to move before that happened. Swiftly, he gathered his laptop, iPad, and a few changes of clothes. There was no time to waste. Before stepping out, he made one final calculated move. He switched off the Wi-Fi router and changed the password. Penelope depended on the internet for everything. Facebook, Reddit, news. Without it, she would be cut off, isolated, while he carried his belongings packed neatly in his backpack. Anthony passed his recovering wife without a word. His face unreadable. This was the end. His first stop was a nearby McDonald's, where he connected to their free Wi-Fi. With practiced precision, he checked his financial accounts, paid off and closed their jointly held American Express Go card, and used the bill pay function to close their Chase card. Then, with a few keystrokes, he transferred half of the funds from their shared account into a separate account under the name of his landscaping business. A simple but effective maneuver. Later that evening, Anthony arrived at the Davis household. Adam Davis met him at the door, expression filled with understanding. Anthony exhaled deeply. "Disaster doesn't even cover it," he began. Adam nodded silently, motioning for him to follow. They stepped onto the terrace, a gentle breeze carrying the scent of freshly cut grass from the nearby golf course. Seated with drinks in hand, the weight of the situation pressed heavily between them. After a long silence, Anthony finally asked, "How's Zachary?" Adam's eyebrow lifted, tone somber. "Do you really need to ask?" "He lost his son, Anthony. And you lost your grandson. This isn't something one simply gets over." Anthony's shoulders slumped under the weight of guilt. "I don't know how to face Alana or Penelope. Knowing that Kevin might not even be Zachary's," he said quietly, pained. She stayed quiet about it. "I'm not even sure if Alana is really mine." Adam's face darkened. Penelope's fury. "I've never seen her this upset. If Alana isn't Benjamin's mother, I think she could make drastic decisions." Anthony nodded grimly. "We have to stay calm. No more drama, please." Before they could continue, a furious figure stormed onto the terrace. It was BB. Her glare was cold, accusatory. "What the hell is he doing here?" Her voice cut like steel. Adam raised a hand, trying to calm her. "Take it easy, sweetheart." But Anthony stepped forward, bracing for the confrontation. Before anyone could respond further, the doorbell rang. 2 policemen stood on the porch, faces unreadable. Anthony met their gaze calmly, resigned. He had anticipated this. Without protest, he extended his wrists, allowing the officers to handcuff him. As they led him away, Adam called after him, voice steady. "I'll contact Zachary. We'll sort this out." Over the following month, chaos gradually subsided. Alana resisted the divorce at first, insisting that she and Zachary try counseling, but as tensions mounted, her demands grew unreasonable. Then the DNA results arrived. Alana was indeed Anthony's biological daughter. Relief washed over him, tempered by a deep, enduring disappointment. Though his love remained, something between them had irrevocably shifted. Alana, still wounded, refused to allow Anthony to see his grandson, Kevin. Meanwhile, the photograph Anthony had taken at the pharmacy, showing deep scratches and fingernail marks on his face, became crucial evidence in a misdemeanor assault case against Penelope. Divorce proceedings dragged on. She fought fiercely, her legal team employing every delay tactic imaginable. The stalemate seemed endless until an unexpected incident occurred. One night, outside a nightclub, Penelope and Alana were ambushed in the parking lot by a short man clad in black, face obscured by a ski mask, wielding a long, heavy pole with brutal precision. Bones were broken, teeth knocked out. Both survived with no permanent physical damage, but the psychological scars ran deep. They had no idea who the attacker was, though Zachary was suspected. At 63, he was quickly cleared. Investigators found no leads. Fear consumed Penelope and Alana. They withdrew from social life, their bond fraying further. Arguments flared constantly. Eventually, they abandoned the fight for Benjamin's custody. The divorce finalized with a 50-50 asset split. Zachary named Benjamin's primary custodian, and no child or spousal support awarded to Penelope. But another painful truth emerged. A court-ordered DNA test revealed Kevin's biological father was not Zachary Davis. It was Andrew Herbert. Shockwaves rippled through their fractured lives. Zachary's name was removed from Kevin's birth certificate, and Andrew was ordered to pay child support, despite being financially unable due to his own pending divorce and obligations to his 3 children. Amid the storm of his marriage, Zachary found a strange sense of peace with his parents' unwavering support. He remained at Anthony's landscaping company, investing in its growth. Benjamin thrived in this environment, though visits with his mother were always emotional, sometimes tears, sometimes anger. And Penelope. Her resentment toward Anthony never faded. She loathed his effortless charm with single women at the country club, his ability to move on while she remained trapped in bitterness. Through it all, Anthony's parents, Adam and B, stood steadfastly by his side. And BB, demonstrating her resilience, went on to win her 5th consecutive women's golf championship, even without a full set of clubs. And so, the story reached its inevitable conclusion.